Welcome back to Big Boss Mare with Brandy Von Holten. Today I have Nikki Freeman. All right, so this is a really cool interview for myself because this is one of them that I want to do. I want to do today's interview, and then I want to do a progress interview, and then one whenever I reach my final goal. So I've put on social media that I want to lose 150 pounds. But you know what? I'm really okay with, this is going to sound bad, but I'm really okay with not losing 150 pounds. But I always shoot for this like amazing goal. And if I fall short, it's okay because it's okay. That's kind of like, a lot of people don't know this, but I try to go to the Olympics. I didn't make it to the Olympics, but I fought at the Olympic Training Center, and I fought in 5 countries. I've won national, state championships. I've won all sorts of really cool things. I've got 2 belts in the office. In the country world, we're always trying to win buckles, but I won a belt. I won belts before I won buckles.
I like it.
A lot of people can't say anything like that, but we're the heaviest I ever was 327, and there was some decimals, I think. I have it written down somewhere. And then, I want to weigh around 150, okay, or 165, whatever, somewhere around there. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we'll just see. Sure. We'll see how everything goes. But most definitely, more than 100 pounds is what I want to lose. And so I, even though I coach people, I needed a coach. All right. So here we go. Let's get started with meeting Nikki. So it's Nikki, and it's not short for Nicole or anything?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you spell your Nicole?
Nicole.
Okay, so it's a traditional Nicole spelling. All right. And then your maiden name was Vap. And it's just VAP with V-A-P, not a double P.
Nope.
Okay. With you having that A in V-A-P, girl, everybody tries to give me an A and make me Van Holten. Oh, but I'm Von Holten. If my last name was Van Holten, life would be so much easier. So now your last name is Freeman. Mm-hmm. So you got that Freeman from, who'd you get Freeman from?
Well, I am married to Jeremy Freeman, so I got that from him.
Yeah. Okay. So so Nikki and I are both 1979 models. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what we are.
That's right.
She has been married since it was 2002, got married to Jeremy.
Yep.
And Jeremy is actually a pastor at St. Paul's. Yep. And that's here in Sedalia.
Yeah.
But where are y'all from and how did you meet?
So we're both from Iowa, and we actually met as camp counselors.
Oh my gosh.
So, a little summertime romance that turned into the long haul.
Okay. So how long have y'all been in Sedalia?
Oh gosh, we've been here for, I think 12 to 13 years now.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's talk about, Nikki's got some pieces of paper, okay? So she's got a birth certificate, and then she's got a wedding certificate.
I do.
Okay, or marriage license, I guess that's what that's called. Now let's get into these pieces of paper, okay?
Okay.
So a lot of people know I've got pieces of paper, and Nikki's got pieces of paper. We've got the same amount of pieces of paper, but yours are cooler. Okay.
No way.
I have a degree in biology with a minor in physics, and that's a BS. Then I have a BA in criminal justice, and then I have my master's in teaching. Mm-hmm. But Nikki, here we go. This is the friend that you have that one-ups you. Okay.
No way.
All right, tell us about your pieces of paper.
Okay, so my BA is in teaching, and that's English, speech, and theater.
Okay.
My MA is in communication.
And that's her master's.
Yes, yeah, master's.
And then here we go. You ready for the big DR in front?
My doctoral degree is in educational leadership and policy analysis, and my research emphasis area was communication.
Okay. So she's a great communicator. Ooh. She's probably analyzing the heck out of me right now.
No, you're doing great. Don't worry.
Thank you. Do you know, ComArts I cannot believe that I write books. I can't believe I write books. I can't believe I have a podcast. My husband has told me so many times that being married to me is like being in a lifelong spelling bee because I cannot spell.
Oh.
And I get things messed up, and I call upon some of my old teacher friends, and I'm like, what word am I supposed to use right here? Like, help me out, because I will get things just mixed up. And here I am, all these pieces of paper, and there's some, I think I must have been messed up in the head or something, maybe like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, whenever some like basic laws of sentence structure and word usage was being taught, because I still mess it up.
It's okay.
I mean, I write from one national magazine, and I write for one that's more, it's just in a few states, but I write for magazines, and I have to get those proofread by so many people.
You know what? It's all right. It's okay.
So Nikki, all right, so we're going to talk numbers because
Sure.
you're helping me lose some weight, so let's talk about some numbers.
Okay.
So what is the heaviest you've ever been in your life?
The heaviest I've been is 170.
170. Okay. What do you weigh right now?
I weigh 145.
145. Okay, and you are 5'8", 5'9",
5'8.5", yeah.
5'8.5",
9.
5'9". Okay.
Depending on my shoes.
Oh, okay. Do you know in the horse world, they have this thing called hands, and it's literally like the hand sideways, and then they have 14 hand, 1, 2, 3, and then when you get to the 4th finger, you say 15 hands, and then you have to be, I think you have to be at least like, your horse has to be 14 hands tall to not be a pony. So a lot of times if they don't want to be a pony, they let their hooves grow out a little bit more. So is that what you are? Like with shoes, I'm 5'9".
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. When I got my heels on.
Oh.
No.
So you're doing some really cool stuff right now. Okay, you're actually getting certified as in nutrition. You're taking a nutrition certification right now,
Right.
And you're doing that through M2 Performance Nutrition. And you said it's extremely rigorous. So for somebody to tell me who is, you teach at UCM. Yeah, you teach. What do you teach at UCM? Just
I'm in a communication department, and my emphasis is in organizational communication. So assessing how groups of people work together, and figuring out ways to make them work more effectively with one another.
Okay.
And then I also work with leadership components and all of those things that just make organizations and systems and groups of people work better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing that at UCM. UCM's where I graduated from.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Go Mules.
Yeah, go Mules. I rode 2 mules.
Yeah.
Well, I rode 1 mule, and then one of my farriers rode another mule in that
The world record.
the Guinness World
Yes,
Record. I'm waiting
yes.
on my certificate to come in right now, but that was a new category.
Oh, yeah.
It was a new category, so we most definitely made it into the book because we were ground zero, which is great. That's really cool to take place in something like that.
Heck yeah.
UCM's where I got my master's at, so kind of cool. We're having all sorts of connections here.
Yes.
So she teaches college. She's a college professor, and then you also you have certifications and other things. So
Yes.
let's go into those.
Okay.
All right. So tell us what you have 3 fitness certifications, and you're working on a nutrition certification. So tell us about these fitness certifications.
Sure. So I love teaching fitness classes. I'm certified in yoga. I'm certified in what's called Zen Barre. So it's a yoga and barre, B-A-R-R-E. Don't get the other one confused there.
Oh, yeah. I want to go to a yoga bar. Just
I know.
B-A-R.
I mean, honestly, I think that would be super fun. So Zen Barre is a fusion of yoga and barre class. And then Piyo, which is a fusion of Pilates and yoga.
Let's go back to the bar class. Do you actually have a bar? Like a pole?
It's like a ballet bar. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. And it's not a dance class. So it takes positions from ballet, like first position, second position, third, and fourth.
You're acting like you tapping into some information in my head. There's no information in my head about ballet to tap into.
So think squats.
Okay.
Right?
We're talking now.
Okay. Think squats. We call them pliés
Okay.
in ballet, right? So the different squat positions. So like if I'm in a wide squat, that's going to be like second position in ballet.
Okay.
Or a plie, right?
Okay. In martial arts, that's called horse stance.
Perfect.
Okay.
Horse stance
Yes.
squats then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we're on
And
the
then you
same
can do
page.
duck squats if you put your feet outward.
Yeah, exactly. So
Same.
we just take those positions, we take those different basically like techniques,
Okay.
and then we do a lot of muscle toning and strengthening
So,
in those positions.
Barre sounds like booty boot camp,
Yes.
but like some fancy booty boot camp.
Yes.
Okay.
It is
All right.
very good for the legs and the booty.
I do like some booty because Gravity has said, "Hey, girl," to my booty. And I'm all like, no, Gravity, we're not friends.
Oh, no.
Don't
Yeah.
knock on my door.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
Exactly.
All right. So you teach Barre, okay, which is like not dance, not ballet, kind of do. But
It's a muscle toning. It's a toning and strengthening class
so
for sure.
that one, not high in cardio, more on muscle.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, you should try it. It's
Okay.
fun.
And then Piyo, which is Pilates and yoga. So tell me the difference between Pilates and yoga.
So Pilates, we're going to pull in different plyometric moves. So we do more squats, we do more lunges. It's a little bit faster paced in the Piyo format. So,
Okay.
when we think about yoga, and yoga's not always slow.
Right.
A lot of times people think it is. It's not always. But Piyo definitely moves at a quicker pace.
Okay.
But then we're also pulling in some more of those plyometric components, Pilates components with lots of leg lifts, lots of squats, lots of lunges, those
Okay.
sorts of things.
So all I've heard so far is a bunch of lower body. What do you do for upper body? Or or those have upper body as well?
For sure.
Okay.
Yep, they all do. They all do. We all do upper body in those classes as well. Yoga is very upper body intense. And then I also like to lift weights, and I do CrossFit, and I am a certified L1 coach for CrossFit.
So an L1 means level one. And you said that there's 4 levels, but if you're a level 4, that means that you like work for CrossFit.
Right.
And
You're training trainers.
You're training trainers.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you want to go up to your level 2?
I mean,
What's the difference between level 1 and level 2 besides
a
an
lot
increase?
more training. Yeah, a lot more training. You go through like a full program. I'm certainly not opposed to it.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
probably more of a long-term goal.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, in martial art, I don't know if you know this because you and I are new to learning each other. I'm a 3rd degree black belt, but then I know if somebody was like, "Well, do you want to get your 4th degree?" I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
I'm happy with what the content that I'm at,
Right.
So I could, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about some pieces of paper, some certifications. Now then, let's talk about, let's talk about diet culture.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
tell me, what exactly, I've tried a lot of things. Okay. And a lot of things have been successful. And a lot of things have not been successful. And I don't know if I'm able to, I'm not going to really talk bad about anything, but like if something excludes a food group, I don't dig it.
Right.
And if something tells me that fruits and vegetables are bad, I don't dig that.
Sure.
And if somebody tells me that I have to buy all of my meals, like packaged, not real food, but like just protein shakes, protein supplements, I want to eat real food. I don't want to exclude a food group, but I also want to get rid of my tummy.
Right.
Yes, I want to get rid of all the jiggle, all the McJiggle. Okay. So tell me, what have you seen with why diets don't work?
Sure.
Okay.
So I think the biggest thing that we find ourselves falling into is we want that immediate result, right?
Right.
But let's think about this. That weight didn't come on overnight.
Right.
It was a process. It's also going to be a process to get rid of it. And with diet culture, it kind of feeds us into believing that everything needs to be super quick. It needs to be really rapid. And if we aren't seeing immediate results, then it's not working. The other part with diet culture is we fall into this whole mentality of crash and fad diets, which are not sustainable and they're not realistic. So it can work for the time being. We'll probably see great results for this short amount of time.
Right.
But once we get off of that diet, all of the weight comes back on.
Right.
So for me, it's all about looking at this as a lifestyle as opposed to a diet and creating sustainable, realistic eating habits that are going to fuel you in a way that makes you able to, kind of like my organizational calm component, make you function at the highest level of efficiency and effectiveness that you can, fueling you properly, but doing this in a way that it is something you can do for the long haul.
Right. Okay. So, I contacted you, and I'm a large person, but I am also not somebody that's going to be like, I cut out drinking Coca-Cola and I lost weight, because for the biggest part, was already healthy, and I've already been an athlete in the past, and I have a very, my job is, it reminds me of a truck driver. They have to hurry up and get somewhere, and then they have to wait. So my job is like that. I'm either sweating through my pants and got to change clothes, or I'm in front of a computer screen. I'm kind of like, rum, with like the gas pedal. I'm not the same all day long. My husband is pretty much active all day long, but not high intensity. But then he does switch to high intensity sometimes whenever he's like baling hay. Okay, so like, man, I feel like a difficult person just because what's your activity level? I'm like, well, what's the day? Yeah, so it's hit or miss.
Right.
And I know that I know this is the right thing, and this is why I wanted you to come do this podcast, is because I know this is the time, because other things that I've done, I've always viewed them as short-term.
Yeah.
And I don't view that as short-term. I view counting macros, which macros stands for macronutrition, which is, you don't track calories in this. I mean, you could, but it's fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. So I know that this right here, after, you know how ignorance is bliss?
Yes.
Ignorance is like whenever you don't know something, and then it's just like, I didn't know that. But now that I know, like the nutrition that I have from that, I can't unknow it.
Right.
And I've always thought that I ate pretty healthy. Girl, I used to go get a salad, and I'll be like, well, put some cheese on there. And then I would order 2 hamburger patties to put on there, be like, I need my protein. And then like salad dressing, I don't want no fat-free salad dressing because that's just a bunch of chemicals. I wanted a full fat one. Well, there's nothing wrong with anything that I ate, but it wasn't right for me. Like right now, I'm trying to eat 50 to 53 grams of fat. Right now, I'm at 185 to 195 carbs, and I'm at 137 to 142 proteins. Based on what I was eating before, I was eating so much fat.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't eating enough carbs. I hadn't ate fruit in I don't know how long.
Right.
And so now I've been working with Nikki. She's been helping me out with some stuff and educating me a little bit, And I have all these plates and screws in my face. They had to peel me kind of like an orange to fix my stuff, and they went in through my sinus cavities. Well, I have a mucus problem. Okay, I'm not a sexy female behind the scenes. Okay, I have medical problems, but now that I've been eating better I've been with you. This is 5 weeks, starting 5 weeks today. My mucus problem is gone. Yeah. And then whenever I do cheat and have a meal that usually dairy and carbohydrates, like dairies and breads, usually make that happen. I don't have that big response.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now that I know how I'm supposed to eat and I have seen changes, I can't go back. It's not like a supplement that I'm buying. It's not leaving out a food group. No, this is eating balanced.
Yep.
And I can't go back to unknowing. I cannot go back to not knowing.
Right.
So talk to us about after you turned 40.
Yep.
Tell me about what you had seen and what made you decide that you wanted to, in addition to being a college instructor, that you wanted to dive into this industry.
Yeah, sure. So fitness has been a big part of my life for several years now. I've taught classes for quite a long time, something that I've always pursued. But I did find myself several years ago falling into that mentality of eating like severely under in terms of caloric deficit. Like caloric deficit is good. This is how we lose weight. But again, part of diet culture is telling us how far under we need to be. And I was under that mentality of like, oh, I'm just going to barely eat, I'm going to work out and I'm going to do all these things. Had no muscle mass whatsoever, was constantly feeling in pain, like my body hurt. I was getting injured pretty quickly and easily. And I just got frustrated with that. And then you put that on top of the pandemic and, you just kind of decide that you need to figure out how you're going to survive this time. That's when I really started to dig into learning that food is fuel. Mm-hmm. And that's really what I look at it now. Food is going to fuel me in terms of what I need to do to get through the day. And I put my body through a lot during the day and during the week. And so I needed to make sure that I was fueling it properly. And again, like you said, sometimes you work with other people to learn more. I did the same thing. And I started to learn like, whoa, I am so severely under eating here. And that just kind of changed my whole mentality. I also changed the way that I was approaching my workouts. So I was, again, falling into that belief that cardio is the way to go, and it's cardio 100%. And when I stepped away, and of course I still do cardio,
right?
But when I stepped away from that and started balancing it with yoga and also weightlifting, that's when my body started to drastically change. So when I changed my nutrition and I really looked at my exercise plan sort of holistically and pulled in yoga, weightlifting, and cardio all together.
Right.
And this was all after 40. So ladies, if you're out there thinking that you've reached your prime, you're past your prime, and you can't do anything to change your body, that's absolutely incorrect.
It is incorrect.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I have gotten into one area way too much, but right now I want to balance cardio, weightlifting, and stretching. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but I have gotten where I would go way too deep into one of them.
We do.
Way too deep. And now I'm trying to find balance. I'm always trying to find balance. Like even at our ranch, Von Holten Ranch. I mean, we have 4 businesses. We have a wedding venue, that my husband built. Then we have our camping facility. I mean, that thing's got 40 RV sites and 94 stalls.
It's amazing.
Then we have a boarding barn. That's an up and coming, but we're only going to hold 10 boarders. We have 2 in there, and I have 2 training horses. So we're getting that thing finished. But then I have a business. I'm a business myself because between balancing with the podcast, and then I write for a couple of magazines, and then I write children's books, and I have a coloring book, and then I teach classes. I mean, I'm a mounted archery instructor. I teach country tough trail versatility. And then I teach general horsemanship, and then right now I've been taking on horses, and every horse that I buy with the intention of selling, I keep it for 45 days and do like a complete medical on it. There is so many pieces. And then my husband's business that's called Building with David. I mean, he is building these online, it's basically an online woodshop course where he sends them all the materials and then they build with him through video. But then I am making them worksheets that line up with like national standards.
Yeah.
So like,
so awesome.
There are so many pieces of Brandy Von Holten, and I have to be highly efficient in all of them.
Right.
Balance.
Oh, it is.
Balance.
All about balance.
And then here I am trying to balance correctly with exercise, correctly with all the pieces of our business, and then my food was not balanced. And the fact that that it wasn't balanced, and I thought it would. I have a degree in biology,
Right.
and my nutrition was not balanced. The food pyramid is whack. That is based on companies trying to make money. That is not based on proper nutrition. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but don't get me in trouble with the government or anything, okay? So y'all just just act like I didn't say it. But that food pyramid is not set up for us. The original one is not.
Well, we're just told so many things that we quickly believe, like carbs are the enemy. No, your body needs carbs. Now, we need the right type of carbs, but that's what's going to give us fuel.
Right.
Like you said, those fats sneak in there. We don't even realize how high our fat numbers are. So it's a very, very delicate, it's exactly what you said. It's a delicate balance. And that's my focus with all of this, is balancing overall health and wellness. So looking at physical health, emotional health, mental health, and how that all fuses together to give us the most balanced approach to life that we can find.
Right. And if you don't find balance in your life, these things that are not balanced are going to creep up on you. Okay. So my weight gain, I have told a lot of people I gained, I started at around 260, 265, something like that whenever we started Von Holten Ranch, and I got up to 327. So it's about a 60-pound weight gain. I gained 10 pounds a year for 6 years in a row. Okay. And then it's finally stopped. And now we on the other side of that hill, thank God, because now it's beginning to go down. And now I'm all like, whoo, it's going to go down a lot, because now I've got my mind right. Our business is founding balance. But 10 pounds a year, that's not even a pound a month.
Right.
Ladies, we're talking about some 0.89 or something like that, whatever it is. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but it's not even 1 pound a month. But I did that every month for 6 years.
Yeah.
And then you're holy smokes, what happened?
Right.
And it creeped up on me. It's like I blinked, and then I was like, oh.
Yep.
Because I was already big. I was already a heavyweight. And now I'm a fat heavyweight. I'm still strong. I mean, you're not going to carry around 325 pounds or 327 pounds every step of your life and not have muscle in your legs.
Right.
I mean, every time I squat, I'm squatting 327. Okay. So I'm in booty boot camp every day of my life carrying this around,
Sure.
So I know that I'm strong, but I want to live longer. I want to sit in an airplane seat and not have to put the armrest up and to be comfortable.
Yeah. And live as long as you can on your own. So being able to function on your own for as long as possible.
I see a lot of cowgirls at our trail riding facility, and the ones that just kept going and they've always focused on health and stuff are the ones that are still riding when they're older. But the ones that are larger, man, those knees, those hips, I mean, and then they don't continue to be as active as they were. And then all of a sudden they're a little bit less active. And then, instead of just taking a lot of people take winter off from riding. A lot of people do. Some people don't, but they just get longer and longer time between their rides. And then all of a sudden it's been a year, and then they go to get on, and then they just don't anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, how did this happen?
Right.
And then people they'll wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I want to ride horses. What am I doing? And then they have fear come in because they haven't been riding, or their horse is we call it green. Their horse will be like, hadn't been rode in a little bit. The horse needs to be conditioned. So it's like this big snowball, and it becomes so much effort to ride again. And it's because they didn't take the time to find the balance and get themselves healthy and continue to ride.
Right.
Yeah, because something in motion will remain in motion unless acted on by an outside force. Well, sometimes those outside forces is you have robbed Peter to pay Paul with your health, and now it's time to pay Paul. Or pay whoever in that analogy.
Exactly. And honestly, as women, I think we often find ourselves in the position where we sacrifice our own time to give to everybody else. And it just puts us in a place where we don't prioritize ourselves. We don't prioritize our health. And then, like you said, that 0.8, 0.9 pounds.
Whatever it was.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, here I am.
But times 6 years.
Right.
You know, I wish I would have done something else that compounded. It compounded on me is what it did. It added up, and I'm like, time to put on the brakes, okay? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do another fad diet. I don't want to send people hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. I don't want to take a pill. I don't want to do that stuff.
I want this to be a lifestyle.
Yeah, I want to eat food. I don't want to feel bad if I have a slice of bread. I don't want to feel bad if I have an apple. Well, you know what? I get to have right now, and this is based on macros, are based on your height, your weight, your age, your activity level, and your sex, okay? All of that goes in, and then you have to change these numbers, okay? Because you can't be in you said this earlier, you cannot be in a constant state of trying to lose weight.
Right.
You have to.
Sometimes you have to maintain. Sometimes you might even be building and gaining weight based on your goals. Those goals are always changing.
Right. So, you know, an apple. An apple is 0, 19, 0. It's 0 fat. It's 0 protein. It's got 19 carbohydrates in it. Well, I get to have 185 carbohydrates. Right now, my addiction is within this English muffin.
Ooh,
and it's
so
good.
good.
It's got 2. Well, this might not sound good to you, but I love it. Right now, there's a cream cheese that has smoked salmon in it. I can have 2 tablespoons of that and then a tablespoon of strawberry jam. So don't judge me. Don't judge me.
It's all good.
I love that. And it's 638.8. Okay, it's 6 grams of fat, it's 38 carbohydrates, and it's 8 proteins. Okay, and I'm all like, I have room in my life for you because I love you. I mean, every morning I'm just like, yes.
Yes, and
time
that's
for that
the
English
thing.
muffin.
Right.
I love it.
That's the thing, and that's what I love about making sure that everything we're doing is sustainable and realistic. So you can make those choices. You don't have to say no to specific foods all the time.
Right.
It's making sure that you're looking at it as fuel. It's making sure you're hitting those numbers because that's what your body needs to function. So it's a great way to look at things because it's not restrictive. Because again, that restrictive lifestyle is not one you can sustain.
Well, as soon as you tell me I can't have something,
then you crave it.
I crave it.
Yep.
And then I also have you ain't gonna tell me no.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the sass in me.
Right.
And you know what? I've done diets before where I didn't have carbohydrates. Well, guess what I also didn't have?
Energy.
Well, I didn't get to use the bathroom, and whenever I did, it was a brick. Okay, things you're not supposed to say on podcasts with 2 ladies talking, but I don't care. It was mean.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. And that's your body's response to food.
Oh my gosh.
Your body functions better when it has the nutrients it needs.
Well, and I will tell you, like with counting macros and like reaching the numbers that I need, I've never ate this much food on a quote unquote diet.
Right.
But I mean, it's a lot of food.
It is.
It is a lot of food, but it's proper food.
Correct.
So I've talked to a couple of people about this on social media where like, dude, if you had 270 calories of a Snickers bar is not the same as 270 calories of green beans and shrimp. Like you're going to get so much more food.
Right.
And so right now I'm trying to eat balanced. Well, I mean, if I wanted to have that Snickers bar, I can, but I've got to take it away from all my other stuff, and it leaves me with less. Then that makes me hungry,
and your body responds poorly.
Yeah, and if I'm hungry, as soon as I can't stay hungry because then I'm like, open up the cabinet door and I'm gonna put stuff in my mouth with both hands if I get too hungry and I stay hungry, and then I don't feel good. What I like about this is, if there's something that you want, you've got to budget it. And if it's out of budget, then it's out of budget.
Sure.
It's just like, if you only had $60 to go to the grocery store and that's all you had, you've got to budget.
Right.
So, a problem that I and now this is going to be a big thing. You ready to talk about this? Because I didn't prep you.
Okay, we'll see.
It's about keeping promises to yourself.
Yes.
Do you know I will keep a promise to a horse? I will keep a promise to my dog about doing stuff. I'll keep promises to people that I've only met 1 or 2 times. I'll keep promises to my family. And I will not keep a promise to myself about like, this is what I'm going to do.
Because there's no accountability.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't know, and I feel like I'm a good goal setting person. I feel like I've got a lot of motivation. I've got a lot of staying power. But man, I have struggled with in the past of just, I will set these goals for myself. And then when it's time to do them, like crickets are chirping. So
right.
What do you think? What have you seen with people that you've helped increase their health? How did they get to where they're keeping promises to themselves?
Right. Well, accountability is a huge part of it. And this is also why I view health and wellness fusing together the mental, the emotional, and the physical component. Because if mentally and emotionally we're not in it, we're not invested, we're not going to get very far.
Right.
Right? And so it's really about thinking about getting your mindset in that healthy, balanced place as well, because that's going to help propel your goals forward. So for a lot of people, when they're first starting out and they're taking on these big lifestyle changes, whether it's eating, adding an exercise plan, whatever that looks like, accountability to another person is really huge because it's so easy for us to say to ourselves, I'll just start tomorrow.
Right.
Or, next week will be fine. And we just keep pushing it off. But if we know we have somebody that's holding us accountable, it helps us to take that step forward. Right. I think the other thing is it's awesome that you create these huge goals and that's what drives you. But I think for most people, if we set goals that are too big, they're not viewed as realistic. And then when we don't see progress, we get discouraged and we stop. So for most of the people that I work with, and for myself as well, I set smaller, much more manageable goals.
Right.
Because then I can constantly see the progress. Right. So I hit that goal, then I create a new one. Right. Push myself a little harder.
So I will tell you, my first goal, and I thought I was already there, and then I had like this scales debacle. Okay. I last year, I never got below 310. Okay, so that's like super important for me to erase that year, okay? To be like, all right, I'm doing this. And I thought that I had lost down to 309, thought I'd lost down to 307. I bought a new pair of scales because mine was, I would weigh 316 and get back on it and say 307. Then I'd get back on it and say 311. And I was like, I need a new set of scales. And my husband, bless his heart, he's so sweet to me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of husbands are not supportive of wives that are larger, but my husband has seen me try everything in the world, and then he's seen me still perform and do well. And, so he's been there for this weight loss journey and my health journey and stuff. And he had to come up with the right wording to be like, maybe the skills that we have are not able to handle your weight. Okay. And that was like, oh gosh, that's hard to hear. So we went and bought a new set of scales that go all the way up to 400 pounds, which how much that hurts my soul.
Sure.
It's hard. It's hard to be like, oh my gosh, I have to get a set of scales to go up to, because they didn't have a set of scales that went to 350. Okay. Right. So so I had to get the scales that go up to 400 pounds. Well, then these things I can weigh like 4 or 5 times and it weighs exactly the same to the decimal. So I'm like, okay, so this is an accurate thing. Well, it turns out my other scales were off. And so I thought that I had started at 317 with Nikki, but I probably started way higher than that because now my weight's at like 315 and we've been together for 5 weeks, but I'm already had so many non-scale victories and I know that I'm losing weight and I know that I feel better, but I will tell you, whenever I thought that I was finally done with last year's weight, and then I was like, oh, I'm right in the middle of it again. it hurt my soul.
Heck yeah, it does.
It hurts.
It does.
You know, and so my first small goal, because I thought I was at 317, and this morning I was at 315 something, whatever. My first goal is to get under 310. But I know whenever I hit 299, I have something big planned. Okay. So a lot of y'all are going to be hearing this now. So you need to be rooting for me whenever I hit 299. The whole world will know because I have something epic planned. Okay. I'm not going to let it out of the bag right now because right now, a lot of people will be hearing about this. But if you're hearing this podcast and it's like 2026 or 2027, go back and see what happened whenever Brandy hit 299. Okay. Because you'll want to know. All right.
Very nice.
But I do have smaller goals, but I don't know. You know, like I have some friends that if they ever hit 150, I mean, it would crush their soul. And then I have friends that it's 180. If they ever hit 180, it would crush their soul. And then 200. 200's a big deal for some girls that were always 150, 160. But if they hit 200, I mean, it feels like part of your soul dies.
I know.
That number for me was 300. And I don't need anybody to feel sorry for me. Nobody felt sorry for me whenever I was eating French fries. Nobody felt sorry for me whenever I thought I was eating healthy and adding hamburger patties to my salad. Nobody felt sorry for me then, you know.
Sure.
But I will tell you, man, ladies, whatever your number is, that whenever you reach that and you literally feel like a failure. You feel like the most unattractive. Nobody can love you. You give up. You know what I mean? At 300, part of me gave up. I gave up because I'm just like, man, I've been fighting. And I'm not talking about the martial arts fighting. I'm talking about fighting diets and just tried. And to see whenever that scale finally hit that number, oh man, it's hard to come back from that. You know, it's hard to now I have to pull this energy in and be like, try again, do it again, try again.
I know.
And it is hard. And
it is
I know
hard.
for you, I like that you actually got up to 170 before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because so many people that try to help people lose weight and get healthy have, they're like, oh, I went from a size 5 pant to a size 3 pant.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
No,
it's
no,
always
I
been
get
really
that.
small.
Yeah.
And it's hard whenever, somebody walking into my footsteps of a 300-pound, of an athlete that still has so much responsibility. And it's not like the world stops because I'm fat. I still have to go forward. But it is nice that you have been larger for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's helped so much with this. And I think you're totally right. And I think that's another thing that we fall into as women is, society has told us so many things about what beautiful is or what pretty is. And if we feel like we're not meeting that mold, it definitely starts to impact us mentally and emotionally. And there's that whole connection again. It's the balance of all three. And so I think we do get stuck in this number chase, right?
Right.
So the same thing happens on the flip side. So when we're losing weight, we often have a number, a goal, which those are good. Those are good things. But I want to remind everybody that you are so much more than a number. Right. Because like you said, Brandy, you are already feeling and seeing different changes. The number might not be moving as quickly on the scale. However, your body is responding to this lifestyle in a way that overall is going to be good for the long run. So it's not always about chasing a number, although we use that as a lot of our motivation and our goal setting. Oh, we are so much more than that. So many people will just throw the scale away and say, you know what? I feel good, and that's what matters. And that's awesome too. I know.
I'm not there.
I get it.
Yeah, not whenever you're at 327. I'm not there.
I know. And that's okay. And that is okay.
I want a 1. I want a 1 at the beginning of my weight. A 1. And it just seems like I have to lose you. You know that? You're 145. I want to lose you, Nikki. I know that sounds so weird.
I get it.
And I don't see myself that large.
Right.
And And I have so many goals this year, and like so many people, whenever they gain the weight, they stop having goals. They stop.
Oh yeah.
Man, that depression is real.
Right.
Okay, so Nikki and I we're at the beginning of our relationship, but man, I want to do Big Boss Mare retreats. You're wanting to do some fitness treats, and like we're trying to like join our powers together like a transformer. Whenever they join for that bigger transformer. Okay, I don't know if anybody else knows what I'm talking about, but man, I think people would love this, to come, work out, get organized, make some goals, get some, and talk about, well, what are some things that I would need to eat? And what are some things, like, help me? I'm having to educate myself.
Oh, yeah.
And
big time.
I mean, girl, I have fought in 5 countries. I have a biology degree, and I am having to educate myself right now because I've been doing it wrong, and I needed to find this balance. And it's okay. I will tell you the math right now, and I'm on week 5. Okay, so next time that y'all hear from Nikki, I'll be on week whatever, like week 80, week 50, whatever week I'm on, or whatever, however long. But right now, to have 3 things, and to try to stop those fats between 50 and 53, and to try to get those carbs, because sometimes I'll run out of one category, and then I'm oh no, what can I eat?
Right.
Or if I eat one thing, it's going to make one category get to where I need it to be, and then the other one's over. Then I'm like, okay, I don't mind it being 1 or 2, a little bit over, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to get into that because I'm trying to fuel my body consistently, so then my body can rely on me to give it what it needs.
Good and whole foods.
Yes.
Yes.
So, if they wanted to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
Probably on Facebook is the best way.
Okay.
So sending me a message, that would be the best way to go about doing that.
Okay. Or they can, whenever we decide how we're going to do this. And if you want to follow my journey, I have a professional page on social media and on Instagram. And I also have a website, and it's brandyvonholten.com. If you can't spell Von Holten, you can type in Big Boss Mare. And oh my gosh, don't be the...
Remember, it's an O, not an A.
Oh, for Von Holten. Well, whenever I have my podcast transcribed, the computer that transcribes it, instead of Mare, like Mare, okay, they think I'm saying Mayor, Mayor.
Well, there you go.
So make sure you understand I'm talking about horses, bigbossmare.com. But if you want to follow my journey, I'm putting stuff up there. I'm making TikToks about what all I'm eating. I'm putting stuff out there, and I'm doing that with Nikki's guidance and with her help. And I've told her, I was like, you know what? Things that I've done in the past is I've lost weight, and then I think I've got it on my own, and then I quit the person or whatever I'm doing. And then, so I'm like, nope, no. I want to do this for at least a year, maybe 2 years, but I have got to do something long term to make sure that I have my own back.
Yeah.
And
that it's a lifestyle and not just a fad or a little crash something.
Right. I don't want to, I don't want to have surgery. I don't want to take pills. I don't want to eat not real food. I want balance. Yeah. And I want energy, and I want to fit better in that freaking airplane seat, so whenever I go swimming, I can look good in my swimsuit. Okay, like I've got goals.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Well, thank y'all very much. This right here was Nikki Freeman, and thanks for tuning in to Big Boss Mare with Brandy Von Holten.